Hello, fellow travelers at heart, and welcome back to another adventure episode. We got to go do the preview ride for Tiana's Bayou adventure at Magic Kingdom, and we wanted to tell you about it.
Yeah, we got to do it because we are annual pass holders. We live here in Florida. It's an easy drive over for us. That being said, the day wasn't actually all that easy. First of all, it's a virtual queue, so you get to wake up at 7 a.m. and press a button hoping to get in. Thankfully, this has been really different than getting queues for things like Tron or Guardians of the Galaxy. This one was actually really easy to get. We were able to click it at like 7:06 and get a spot, and Tron would have been gone in 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, not even making it to 7:01 a.m. So we were able to get the preview time for Tiana's Bayou adventure. So we made our way over to Magic Kingdom, and we were just waiting for our boarding group to be called when Justin noticed on social media that Tiana's Bayou adventure actually had been drained of water. They had been having issues previously, and I guess they had a really big issue the day that we went that they had to drain all the water out of the ride for.
Yeah, we had seen all over social media that the ride had been having difficulties. It seemed like every day it got down for at least 2 or 3 hours at some point. So we knew there was a chance going over there that we may not even be able to ride, or we might have to wait a while.
Yeah, so we just kind of hung out at Magic Kingdom and did some other things. One of the things that we did that we had never done before was story time with Belle in Fantasyland, and that was really, really cute. We took our son and he got to hear a story and a kind of a retelling of the Beauty and the Beast story, and got a photo with Belle at the end. It was so, so cute.
It was one of those days where you kind of like walk in Magic Kingdom and the parking lot was not full, but then as soon as we walked into everyone just decided to be in Tomorrowland. Unfortunately, we had some other rides down too, so I think that also kind of caused people to just be like scurrying around looking for food.
The biggest one was Small World. Small World was down, and we actually got a message in our Disney World app, an apology message that it was down, which I had never seen before. I had never seen the vice president do for a ride, like sending a message.
Right. What was really crazy,
we apologize, this is going to be down all day.
What was crazy too was, I think it was the night before, they had the same message because Spaceship Earth was down at Epcot.
Wow. So I think summer's just hard on the rides, to be honest.
Or the other thing that could be happening is they might just be using that functionality in the app more to try to like pacify people or something. But honestly, the side effect is it just seems to get plastered all over social media, and then people are like, Disney can't maintain their rides. Well,
yeah, but I do think, they're trying to do something for the rides that have to be down all day, because that can be a real disappointment for people who went to that park just to ride that ride. But we waited for as long as we could for Tiana's Bayou adventure to hopefully start running again. And by mid-afternoon, it really didn't seem like it was going to come back up. So, we needed our son to go take a nap. We were making our way out of the park and onto the ferry boat to go back to the parking area. And I checked the app, and Tiana had come back up, and they started calling the boarding groups again. So we had to make a big decision.
Yeah, we got all the way to the boats. We both looked at each other, and Abby said, "You know what? I'm done." And then Turkey said, "You know what? We're here now. I bet there isn't going to be a long line, so let's just go try it. Like, it'll take us 5 minutes to walk over." So I think that's the only time I've ever been in Magic Kingdom and left the park and then scanned back in like less than 5 minutes later.
Yeah, we were fully ready to leave. And then Justin, you made the game day call about let's go back in and try to ride it. And our son, thankfully, was so cooperative, and he, just took a nap in the stroller. So we just walked him around while he was napping, and that worked out great. So we made our way back into Magic Kingdom, back into Frontierland to go ride Tiana's Bayou adventure.
Yeah, our boarding group had not actually been called yet. I think we were still like 10 groups away. But the cast members were great, and they let us go on the ride. I think partly because the day had already been so messed up.
They were very understanding, and they let us go a little bit before our boarding group was called, and we were also using Disney's rider swap system so that one of the adults could stay with the baby, our son, while he was sleeping.
Yeah, so the way that works is you go to one of the cast members that are at the front of the ride, you tell them that you want to set up the terms that they want you to use are basically rider swap, child swap, rider switch. One of those will usually work. They'll ask you who's gonna stay back, so make sure you've talked through like who's gonna go first, who's gonna stay back. So in this instance, like I was going to go ride first, and then I was gonna swap with Abby. We set that all up. They basically scanned our tickets, because what they basically do is give a lightning lane to whoever's going second. So I go wait through the regular line, and then when I'm done and get off the ride, you get to go on and go through the lightning lane.
We can talk about the queue a little bit. At the time of the preview, something I thought was interesting, so the queue starts outside in the same area I believe that the Splash Mountain queue used to be in. Then when you head inside, they have certain themed rooms, and it's all Tiana's like restaurant and business. But something that they had for the preview was big fans set up. I think they were having a little bit of issue with, it's summer right now in Florida, and I think they were having some issues with the airflow, so they had these monster fans set up. Yeah,
they were mostly stationed like near where the inside of the queue began. I think like that area would have been hit by hot air had it been a brighter, sunnier day, but that was great.
Well, I wonder though, it didn't really match the theming. I wonder if it's a temporary thing.
It is definitely temporary.
So what are they going to do to fix it? Just have it not be Florida summer? They're like, we'll take these out when it's not summer.
My guess is it just lives there for 7 months.
I don't know.
There are so many really awesome photos and paintings and recipe cards and awards hung on the walls that you could pretty much entertain yourself for nearly an hour in that queue.
It's good. Yeah, I was about to say, 45 minutes to an hour. It's going to be that long, even with the virtual queue. So everybody who's hoping to ride, set your expectations accordingly. It's going to be very popular. We each rode separately because of rider swap. Do you want to talk about your experience riding it, and then I'll talk about mine?
Yeah, thankfully I got to be in, my own little row. I wasn't in my own car, but thankfully they didn't try to shove somebody next to me, which is always nice because there are some rides where they will do that if you are riding by yourself.
Solo rider,
yeah. So I was in the second row. I think the only odd thing that I noticed throughout the ride was after most of the little drops or show scenes, it always seemed like we then bumped into 3 or 4 other logs.
They definitely have holding points, it seems like, for safety, I'm sure, but that can cause large backups, and we experienced that too on the ride. Probably I'm trying to think in terms of the drop sequence, it was probably about the 2nd or 3rd drop, and I think we backed up we were the 4th boat in a 5-boat backup.
Yeah, there are a couple little sections where you see a great grouping of multiple animatronics, and then you kind of turn the corner and then there's nothing for 4 or 5 seconds, and then you get to another patch of great animatronics, and along the ceiling they have this really amazing effect of basically a tree canopy and fireflies. I would love to see a couple little things, something sprinkled in between those, just to kind of make it flow a little better. So an example of what I'm talking about is the Navi River Journey ride in Pandora World at Animal Kingdom, where that has so much going on that you can look any direction. There's always something interesting. So I think throwing in a couple more little things here and there would help them a lot. Even
with there being a lot of blank spaces in the ride, there's a lot of scenes and animatronics. If I went through and counted, I'm sure there's 20 plus different scenes.
Yeah.
10 rooms maybe, more than 10 rooms that you go through.
There's definitely, they've
kind of including the outside ones.
Yeah, in the YouTube videos we've gotten, I think they counted how many animatronics there were, and I think it's a record for an individual ride.
And they look great. I loved seeing all there's new characters. I love seeing the new characters. There's old characters too, of course. We love Mama Odie. She's the main driver of the plot.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but she's the main driver of the plot of the ride.
Yes. we actually got lucky too because all of the animatronics, for at least my ride, and I'm assuming yours, were functioning what seemed to be at the right time. Some other people we've seen ride on different days have unfortunately had situations where the animatronics were like resetting as they came around the corner or just like weren't functioning properly. So I think we got pretty much a fully functional ride.
I think they worked on the day that we went. I think they worked really hard to get the ride back up and functioning. I don't know what caused it to need the water drained out of it, but they, you know, got it fixed. They refilled the water and they're like, we're going.
Yeah. We actually walked around the ride earlier in the afternoon when it was still down, and we could hear them over the PA system doing call outs and sending flumes and I think testing some different things. They definitely had code words for things I did not understand.
You wanted to understand.
It was good. It was good to see that they were like actively working on it. They didn't just like give up on the day. Another little funny thing about like my particular ride was that it started raining while we were doing the outside scene. So I got, I got wet before I actually went down any of the drops, which actually made the drops like not matter all that much.
Right. Right. Because all the signs as you're going up into the ride, all the signs say you may get wet. Well,
you always will.
You will. Yeah. You will get an amount of wet every time. It adds to the fun though, and you'll drive very fast.
I think quickly. Like I got more wet bring a poncho. From like water splashing off the side, not the main.
That
drop,
is what happens,
funny. And that's funny because you don't expect it, so it's a bit of a surprise.
Did you stop in the place? We got stopped in the place near the end where there's a waterfall and it's splashed. Yes, that was splashing, but that was fine. It wasn't very much. Yeah. My second favorite part of the ride is probably just being at the top of I'm going to say a mountain, because that's what it was. But you get to see over a lot of Magic Kingdom, and you get to see the castle, and you also get to see the Tiana's Bayou like water tower. And I think that's a really pretty view. You see the water tower at one of the like middle kind of overlook points of the ride. You don't get to see the full castle until the top of the drop, the highest drop.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorites. And then obviously that last show scene after you've done the final drop is amazing. I wish we were in that room longer. I don't want to give too many spoilers. You can certainly go watch somebody's ride-through video. Disney posted their own, which is a bit crazy. But I would recommend not watching any of that unless you've already been on the ride. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch a video and try to pick out what I didn't see, because I was looking around everywhere and I'm sure I didn't I barely remember even seeing Tiana because I was looking at like the whole room.
Sure. We purposefully did not watch any ride spoilers before we rode because we just wanted to be completely surprised, and I'm really glad that we did because I was completely surprised, and like Justin was saying, a little overwhelmed because in that last scene in particular, there's so much going on, and I wanted to go slower. Like I wanted to be stuck.
That
in
was
that
where
room.
I wish we had been stuck.
Yeah, there was so much going on. I wanted to stay there longer and hear the music and watch the animatronics and the scene. Yeah.
Like, I'm excited to go watch the movie again and just kind of go see a couple of the little things that, like, we might have missed, or, like, little details that, like, oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
How was your ride?
It was really great. We got to be in the front row. I was so excited. We got really wet. That's the number one thing. But it was just amazing just to get to go through and see all the new show scenes and the new lighting and the animatronics, and trying to follow along with the new story that the ride is telling was really exciting because it's Tiana, but it's different. You know, it's past the movie. It's where she's a businesswoman. She's got her own business. She's planning a party. It's not a spoiler. I don't really know.
So you asked me after the ride, like, if I knew the story, and
you already said you were gonna have trouble with it.
But part of the problem is
I'll try to explain the story.
Well, no, part of the problem is like we walked so quickly through the queue that there were voiceovers kind of alluding to what the story was, or like why you're going on this journey. I didn't
hear the voiceovers. We must have walked through really quickly.
Yeah, so like they exist. Yeah. But if you go too fast, you don't get to really hear any of them.
So you're looking forward to your next ride through, because then you'll be able to kind of absorb it a little bit more.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we're very excited. We can't wait to ride it again when it opens on June 28th. Ooh, something that I did want to talk about. I mistakenly thought the merchandise store that used to be Critter Co-op. Did they change the name?
No, that is the name, yeah.
It is the name, Critter Co-op. I thought it was going to be open for the annual pass holder previews. It was not open. I had seen, you know, some photos on social media showing what products, new products they were going to have. And unfortunately the store was not open for previews. So I'm assuming the store also opens on the 28th. I'm excited to check it out, but
yeah, there's some really cute things they have. It looks really well themed. I always love getting merch from a new character, especially with like a really pretty color palette. The greens and the maroons on that ride are great, and I think it'll make some great merch. Don't be like us. Don't just look at social media and see people posting photos of the merch and assume that it's open. Look and see if it actually is going to open.
Anything specific that you really loved about Tiana's Bayou Adventure?
This is all I'm gonna say. It's not much of a spoiler. Early on in the ride, like I think in the first third, there is a Lewis look-alike arrangement of vegetables and gourds. Yeah. And I think that was one of my favorite little details. Yeah. And that's the sort of thing that I'm talking about they could sprinkle around. Because where this was, there was nothing else going on. Yeah. It was just like after the lift and turning the corner, and it was just rock work. But they put something interesting alluding to Lewis, and like it fit really well, caught my eye, and broke up what would have been like a 10-second stretch of not much ride vehicle, or not much interest in the ride.
My favorite part that I really liked, that is totally a spoiler, is one of the smaller drops inside the mountain. You are turned into a small creature by Mama Odie, and everything suddenly gets big, and you are the size of a frog. And I think in the storyline, you are recruiting frogs to join the band at the party that Tiana's throwing. So you have a very important mission on the ride. It seemed like it was a touch of the glow-in-the-dark neon.
Yeah, like the black light kind of effect.
The black light effect that you see in like Ariel, and I think a little bit in Small World too. So they had that in there, and yeah, that was like the coolest room. Toadstools, it had toadstools in the ceiling.
It was funny too because like off in the corner there's a gigantic screen, and it's like Tiana's face huge, like looking for you, and it really does help make you feel tiny.
Small. One thing that surprised me in one of the first show scenes where you're in the bayou inside the mountain and you're in some trees, Lewis is there, and in the background of the trees there are screens that show you fireflies in different patterns. The image was very low quality. It was low quality enough, like I'm not super discerning, but it was low quality enough that I was like, like that doesn't seem right.
Did it seem like a screen or did it seem like a projector?
No, it seemed like a screen.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so now I don't know, maybe that's something they'll fix. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky.
Maybe, who knows? I mean, if it looked blurry to you, then it probably was blurry to other people too.
Yeah.
This was one of the rides that I actually think the sound could have been higher volume.
Yeah.
Our complaint on most things in Disney is that it's too loud.
The opposite. Yes, we say that the rides are too loud and we'd like them to be, a little quieter.
Yeah, but like that movie has some bops. And like going down to the bayou is stuck in my head. But bayou. That isn't something that I like kind of like dance to. And so it would have been great if we could have gotten like one or two of the more popular songs in that ride, because it would have been a really nice moment to be outside of the Florida sun, like in the air conditioning on a log flume ride, dancing around. Like that would have been great.
Yeah. Overall, it was a really amazing ride. It blew away my expectations, but I thought it was incredible. And what did you think?
It's not a perfect ride. There is no perfect ride. Like there are rides that have so much nostalgia that I think people just forget that it also has little quirks and problems. But this is a great ride. It's a great re-theme. I will probably try to go on it anytime it is warm, and I think my clothes are actually gonna dry. It's pretty well done. I think once they work out all of the kinks on getting this ride to function for a full amount of park hours, it'll be great.
It's
I'm really curious to see what it does to flow in the rest of the park, especially because the entrance into Tiana's is very close to the entrance for Big Thunder. And Big Thunder has that interesting problem where the lightning lane moves way outside of the ride entrance and it kind of pushes itself towards Tiana's. And so if Tiana's has a similar problem, it could get interesting back in there.
Yeah, so we'll just have to wait until it opens on June 28th to see. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and please like and subscribe if you are not already subscribed, and we look forward to bringing you more travel content and Disney content.
Yeah, thank you. This has been great. We had a great time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.